Reading While Inebriated. Welcome to the RWI podcast. By nature, there will be spoilers for the books we have picked. Also, we are going to be eating, drinking, and maybe swearing. Listener beware. Hello, my buddies. It's Carmen.
And I'm Taylor.
And we're doing another really belated,
super belated,
Reading While Intoxicated podcast. And we're drinking Angry Orchard today.
She has the pear, and I have the green apple.
Yeah, and get used to these faces and these drinks, because this is the same for the next 3 videos.
Yep.
Yeah.
And clothes.
And clothes, yeah.
And hairstyle. And
hairstyle and everything, yeah. Okay, oops. I kicked the tripod. Okay, so for October, we were supposed to read...
Jeez.
I know.
It's been a while.
It is. We're recording in March. So we were supposed to read... oh god, I forgot what mine was called.
I don't know. I was supposed to read it, and I gave up because I couldn't hold it.
It was a lot.
It was too big. The book was too big to properly hold. Like, I had to fold the book to get it to open, so I could, it was rough.
That's probably one where it would have been better to do a Kindle version.
Yeah, most likely. My suggestion, watch the movie.
And I read In Cold Blood, right? Yeah.
Yes.
By Truman Capote. So what did you end up reading?
I ended up reading Phasma, which you gave me for Christmas.
Yeah, so this is how late it is.
Yeah.
So, okay, so, pause. Okay.
Unpause.
Unpause. So, I have my trusty notebook. In Cold Blood.
Dandy notebook.
Boom. I wrote down all my notes. So, if you don't know what it is...
I do not.
Okay. So, it's a true crime nonfiction book. And it was written by Truman Capote, who... I believe he had never written... like a true crime book before.
Okay. But
he was interested in it because it made like national news, and he basically they said that this is one of the first books where it reads as a fiction book, and I guess all the previous ones were like true crime were like, this is what happened in deaths.
It was like reading about
like a newspaper.
Yeah.
So it was really boring, but this one was really interesting because it was like, it started off with the history of the family, and then it was like it was a family who died, and then the history of the family and like what they did that day, and then like the first part was called The Last People to See Them Alive. Very telling. But then
I guess they died shortly afterwards.
Yeah, they died shortly afterwards. So a family is murdered in Kansas, and the cops and Kansas Bureau of Investigation look for the killers. The book also follows the killers while they're on the run. So the first part is lives and the history of the family, and you get to know like a little bit about like what the dad did, what's wrong with the mom, one of the son and one of the daughters that were murdered, and then you get to look into their lives. So it was like the son was like just growing up, but the daughter was like a blooming blossom of the community and whatever.
Before she gets murdered.
Yeah. And you get to and then you're like, oh, so these are like the Clutter family, which is what they were called. And then you meet these like 2 people, and you're like, who are these people? But then they turn out to be the killers. So like when you're reading it, they're like, oh, we gotta get there by nightfall, we gotta get there. And it's like, oh, so they must know them, right? Because it's like, I remember they talk about the farm, and it's like this long row of like fruit trees, like along the path. Yeah, like an orchard. Very
an
fitting.
Angry orchard.
They were very angry. Just kidding. And it was like a long, road towards the house, and then so it was like they're like, oh yeah, I remember all about that. So I was like, oh, they must know them.
I thought most murders are committed by someone who knows.
You knew them. Yeah. But it's a very no, that's true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then so it's a very tight knit community that they're in. So so they died. And then everyone's freaked out because it's like a city of 1,000 people, right? And it's like, oh, I know everybody tangentially or personally, and that means one of these people killed our friends, or my girlfriend or like that boy that I knew in class, and it was like very tragic, and everyone was really freaked out.
Bet rent is cheap there.
Bet it is. It's Kansas.
Oh yeah, it's super cheap there. And there's a vacancy.
I mean, in the 60s there was a vacancy.
Who wants to live in a murder house?
Murder people.
Oh.
People who are into murders. I don't know. Some people are like, that'd be creepy, and I was like, what?
It's only creepy when the ghost comes out.
Yeah. I don't believe in ghosts, so.
Oh, neat.
At least I don't think I believe in ghosts. I'm just kidding. So then the second part is focused on the investigation and the killers that are on the run.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like a lot of the bureaus like what happened? What the fuck? Like, who are these people? And then they have to like, the cops are like, I have no idea how to deal with this. So they bring in the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, and then they're like, okay, we got this. And then they send like, like a team of 4 or 5 people, and then they're like tracking them down, but they have no idea. Like, it's crazy, and then so they're like, oh, it must not be people they know, because everyone they know is in the town. And like, they barely leave like Kansas and everything. And then like the murders, they go down to Mexico. They're like, I guess they were thinking they were gonna rob these people and then like be rich, and then they didn't.
Were they
like,
rich?
No.
People?
Okay, so they were very prominent farmers. They were like the most prominent in the area.
There was no prominent bankers or prominent rich people that you
Not
could
in
murder?
Kansas. Not in Kansas.
Why farmers?
So I mean, I'll tell you. Do you want me to tell you what happens? And why?
I mean, spoilers?
I mean, this is...
I'm not gonna read it.
Okay. So then, basically they go down to Mexico, and they're like poor as fuck. They're like, we have to work to get money to stay in this shitty hotel, and you're like, what happened? I thought you you went there to rob people.
Well, they murdered farmers.
And then the eventually part 3 is like they caught them, and they're like, why did you do this? And it turns out these 2 people have been in prison before. I don't know if that would surprise anybody. But one of the guys in prison had a roommate, and bunk buddy, and the bunk buddy, they're good friends.
Suspiciously good friends.
And the guy was talking about how he used to work on the clutter farm when he was little, and like the clutters were so nice, and if you needed what is an extension on your
loan?
No, like what is it when you need money early?
A advance?
Yeah, an advance on your paycheck. Then he'd be like, yeah, I'll give you an advance. Like, I trust you, and they're very trusting out there in Kansas. And then, so, I mean, back then in the 60s or whatever.
Until you get murdered.
Until you get murdered, that's very true. And then, so, he was talking about it, and then one of the killers was like, oh yeah? How much money did he have in the safe? And he's like, I don't know, like, maybe a couple thousand, maybe up to 10,000. Like, I don't know how much he made. Like, I wasn't his accountant. I was one of the workers who asked for the advance. And then the guy was like, oh, yeah? How do you get there? How do you get there? And he's like, like, it's in Kansas. It's like this small podunk town.
Yeah.
And there's like 1,000 people. It's not hard to find. And then they like, so he's like, oh, there's like fruit trees. So they go down the, row of fruit tree orchard or whatever. And then they just went there to rob them. These 2 strangers. And then the guy that bunked with him was one of the killers. I think he was Perry. I did not write that down. Sorry. And the other one was like... Yeah, read the book. And the other one was like... I don't know, the one that was like intent on like, oh my god, I'm gonna rob these people I've never met. I found him to be more like the psychopathic one. Like the crazy sociopathic, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna murder him. I'm gonna murder them to... for my...
Watch them die.
Yeah, right. But then it kind of turned out that the other one, I can't remember their names, but the other one was kind of more psychopathic. I can't tell.
He was a sneaky psychopath.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous.
Yeah. And then it was just it was just frustrating listening to it because it was like, I mean, reading it, because it was like, you went there to rob them. They didn't have any money. Now you had to kill them all. Then the one of them was like, I can't kill them. So he's like, he made the other one kill them. And I was like, oh, this was such a senseless, pointless murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just listened to you explain it, and I don't understand the point.
Right?
I really don't. Like, why would you murder a farmer? Why would you try to rob a farmer? I'm gonna go steal his corn. I don't show him.
Yeah. And it was like November, so it wasn't even
so like
farm
not even
season.
harvest season.
Yeah.
Like, murder him after the summer. Murder him after he harvests.
Right?
Maybe then you get some money out of it.
Yeah, and they were like, he was going to like a convention the next day, and she was like, the daughter was supposed to like help, like, I don't know, go to school or whatever, and it was just like, what? They had lives and stuff, and you just killed them for literally nothing. You didn't gain anything from that.
Neat.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I thought I was gonna
understand.
Yeah, but I don't. Anyway, I put on here, there's a Bastille song about one of the killers. I think it's called like Perry something. So he's like the secret psychopath that I found. But like the Bastille song made it seem like, oh, he's like, he's just a wounded dove. And I don't know if it was like anti-death penalty or whatever, but it was just like, he killed them all for nothing.
Yep.
He helped facilitate that. So,
yeah.
I'm not saying I believe in the death penalty. I may or may not, but he may or may not have deserved that.
Is it a good book?
It was a very good book.
Entertaining?
Very entertaining.
Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it. The only part was like, I kept falling asleep. Yeah. I kept falling asleep because...
That's not the book's fault, babe.
No.
No, you just fall asleep.
I'm very sleepy. Okay, what was your book about? I gave you Phasma. I'm wearing a Chewy shirt.
Yeah. So, for Christmas, I was given Phasma, which, if anyone's not a Star Wars fan, then you're dead to me.
Get out.
And...
Stop watching.
So Phasma is like supposedly it's the backstory of Captain Phasma as told by like a resistance spy who had gone to her planet and found things of had like talked to survivors of her kind of making her way off. She's captured by one of the First Order's captains. So
the spy is?
The spy is, yeah. That's how the book starts. She's captured by another captain named Captain Cardinal, who instead of having the chrome armor that Phasma does, he's all red.
Oh.
It's really it looks really cool. There's like a picture of it on the cover, and I should have brought the book. But Cardinal is a First Order loyalist. He completely believes in the First Order. Completely believes in the political message that we're going to bring order to the galaxy. Everyone will have a job. Everyone will be safe and happy. Kind of the Empire.
So he's not just a follower. He's a believer.
He is a believer, a diehard believer, and it's one of those things. As you go, you get introduced to Phasma's planet called like Parnassus, I believe it is, and she is literally a tribesperson. So she is living in a tribe with her brother. Yes, yeah,
okay,
dead serious. Actually, that is completely correct.
Wow.
I
don't know if you can picture like Bran, like. You know what I mean? She's so knighty in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
The girl, the woman in Star Wars who is also Brienne on Game of Thrones. Yeah.
The 7
the
foot
Chrome
tall,
Dome.
the 7 foot tall stormtrooper.
Hey, Chrome Dome!
Yeah, she literally lives on like a plateau above the planet's surface, bordering an ocean. Because like the planet's surface is just so unhospitable that they cannot go off. They've never gone to the surface.
Wow. So they live in the atmosphere on a plateau. They live
just on a plateau, and like there's other tribes on this plateau, and they're like constantly like fighting for control and doing things of that nature. She's one of the she's one of the leaders of the tribe with her brother, who is crippled. Like his leg, it is a bum leg or something along those lines. They have very, very scarce resources, and whenever someone dies, they actually have to extract all the minerals and stuff like that from them. Ooh. And then use that as face paint and stuff like that to
Ugh.
keep themselves alive.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, I know you were.
Ugh. This is
I am
blood
not.
and
Oh,
sweat and
it
tears.
is. It is a brutal book. So I mean, you see Phasma in the movies, and she's kind of glossed over as
Well, it's
she has-
also like not her story.
It's not her story, yeah, but she has, she's the big stormtrooper. She's scary. She's intimidating. She's way scarier in this book. She is a die-hard, will do anything to survive, including crippling her brother,
Wow, she's the
killing
one that...
her family,
Oh wow.
pretty much killing anyone in her way. At some point, the first order, Hux, yeah, Ginger, his dad crashes on the planet after some battle, and she makes their way to they make their way to the tribes, and Phasma agrees to escort him back to his ship across the planet's surface to kind of get him back to the First Order, and then at which point Order will come and lift her tribe off the planet.
How do they survive on the surface of the planet?
Well, since they've never been down there before, they essentially freehand climb down the plateau with like 3 stormtroopers and Hux.
Hux's dad.
Hux's dad. Yeah.
Dad.
Well, it's Hux. His name is Hux too. I mean, it's a surname, right?
No.
That planet is not great. There are
Are there like Sarlacc pits?
no, there's actually I think they are called blood beetles.
That's awful.
So
I
since
already
it
don't
is
like
it is
those.
a desert planet, and so one of the things is like Phasma takes her brother doesn't want to let her go, so because her brother
Is her
says
brother a good person?
her brother is very for the tribe, very much like this. The tribe needs to do this to survive, and she comes to them and says, "Hey, we're going to escort. I'm going to take some of our warriors and escort them to their ship." The brother says, "No, we can't do that. You're our warriors. We can't go defenseless." And she says, "All right, well, peace."
Wow. I'm the ruler, so
Yeah, she just
Sorry.
she's equal ruler.
whatever.
But they leave and they go. She takes their greatest warriors, essentially leaves her tribe defenseless,
Wow.
and just bails.
Bails.
Yeah, goes across the desert, and like the first thing they encounter is like I said, the beetles.
Are they big beetles?
Oh no, the little tiny ones. Like if you've seen like the
Ants.
Mummy.
Oh yeah, scarabs.
Yeah. So like someone like cut themselves on something and like it dripped into the sand, and then the sand just started kind of roiling, and then just like
Oh,
beetles,
that really reminds me of
beetles came to the surface and like they had to like crush them and do stuff like that. One of the guys got bitten by the beetles, and then it like left a mark that healed and was like, oh, he's fine, but he just started to degrade as they were walking.
Oh, I thought he like dissolved into beetles. That was-
No, he started getting like a fever, and he was like seeing things. He had like hallucinations and stuff like that, and they eventually had to like start like dragging him.
Is this one of Hux's men or
One of her men.
Oh.
One of her men. Eventually, he gets like super bloated, and he just essentially explodes into water.
Ooh.
He liquefies.
Ooh.
Real cool.
I don't
book.
know if that's better than exploding into blood beetle. Neither is great.
Not great.
Neither is great.
But it's a big story of like she's the resistance spy is trying to convince Cardinal that the First Order isn't as great as it's supposed to be, or as it seems to be. How far are we supposed to go into this? Are we supposed to go into spoilers or details or what?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
We say with there's spoilers.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
I just told you the whole plot of the book
Oh, that's fair.
and
that's
how
fair.
it ends.
Yeah.
They both die.
Cardinal is just looking for some way to discredit Phasma. He doesn't believe that she follows their ideals and wants to find something from the spy. And she.
No, I'm just like he's like a loyalist,
Mhm.
and then he's working for this, like, well, I guess they're
He's
both
doing
captains.
this. He's doing this on his own regard. He
Yeah.
takes her. He doesn't report it to anyone, and he says,
Oh.
"This is for the First Order. I'm doing this for the First Order, even though this is against what they stand for."
Yeah.
Turns out, old man Hux died of some unknown disease. Can you guess what happened to him?
He was poisoned.
He liquefied.
Ooh,
Fun. So,
blood beetles.
they find this. So after he's told about the beetles, Cardinal kind of puts it together in his head that Phasma had something to do with this, and immediately goes to report it to younger Hux. who asks, obviously, do you have any proof of this? Blah, blah, blah. And he says, no, this is all, like, this is what I've just found. I'm still searching. Which Hux says, good. That's exactly what I wanted. Get out of here.
Right.
He planned his father's death. Yeah.
That's not what I expected. Wow.
Yeah, so Hux worked with Phasma, essentially.
This is very Game of Thrones.
It is very Game of Thronesy. Hux is a rat bastard.
That's why they hired Brienne.
Yeah. And essentially it all comes to this thing whereas all the First Order, all the troops and stuff like that believe in the cause, the kind of triumvirate, Phasma, Hux, and Kylo, are all kind of above that. They are all doing it for their own purpose.
Right.
They end up finding proof. They find like one of the beetles. The spy has one of the beetles from the thing that she gives to Carmen.
So did Hux ask?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, told him, when the time comes, I need you to get rid of my dad.
Wow.
In a way that nobody will know. And so she liquefies him.
Yeah, obviously.
It ends up with essentially Cardinal just loses his entire faith in the First Order because he's like, how could this happen? Like these rulers are against everything I stand for, and ends up like dueling with Phasma, like one on one inside the stormtrooper thing. He's good, but Phasma is just better, and she ends up poisoning him. Is what it is.
Blood beetle.
Not a blood beetle actually. It was like a knife or something like that. Some sort of dagger that had. I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember, but
blood beetle.
Essentially, the way that it ends is she leaves him to die, and the spy kind of takes him, escapes, and puts him on ice, and that's kind of the last you hear of Cardinal.
They froze him.
They froze him. She gets away, and Phasma and Hux get away with their treachery. Wow. Yeah, real intense, real good book. Lots of. I've had it described as like a body horror book.
The exploding
beetles. There's like an arena that they find on the planet, and Phasma has to fight in this arena, and she gets her ass kicked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she fights against a guy that's like 7'5" or something like that. Gets
just
her
taller.
ass beat. Comes back the next time, wins with some of her other warriors. And yeah, it just shows how ruthless she is. She is completely ruthless. At the end, they make their way to the thing and send a distress beacon out. And Hux kind of points at her other warriors as like, oh, they've showed mercy. They've showed like compassion for others. We're not taking them with us. And Phasma is like, yep, makes sense. And leaves them to die.
Wow.
These are people who left their tribe, followed her on this essentially suicide mission.
Right. They don't know if they're going to.
They made it all the way there, and then she says,
"Screw you!
Hey, sorry, you're not worth it," and leaves them.
Yeah.
Peace. Brings a. I think one of the women who has like a point of view is like pregnant at that point.
Oh, the spy.
Not the spy. One of Phasma's warriors.
Oh.
She has like the kid, and Phasma takes the kid and trains him in the First Order. But because
the kid,
Kylo
Ren. Just kidding.
No,
I know.
Because the kid knows who Phasma is, she ends up killing him.
Of course.
Or killing her. She has a training accident.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oops. Goodbye forever.
Yeah. So. It makes me really hope that in the last Star Wars movie, Phasma's coming back, because she's a real badass. Yeah. She is way, way more serious than she
It's a good person story.
Not really.
What?
I'd definitely
read
it.
There's a good person.
Yeah. I'd definitely read the book, though. It was, if I recommend it fully. It was a really nice, it's more just like lore building for the Star Wars universe, right? This is a planet.
Aren't they all?
Kind of, yeah. But it's like Parnassus is never... Oh, that's the other thing. Parnassus is never heard about. Why? Because Phasma gets up there and nukes it from orbit.
Boom, you're all dead. Even if my brother was still alive, which he probably wasn't.
She ends up killing him, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She really don't give a fuck.
No.
Oh, it tells you how she gets her armor, though.
Oh.
It's completely... So you think, like, oh, they got that armor because, she's a badass, she's a captain. No. During like the last fight and everything, she they were getting blasters shot at her, And she noticed that it was deflecting off of Hux's ship. So it was hitting the chrome plating of the ship and bouncing off. So she ended up going back to her planet before she blew it up.
Took Hux's ship.
Literally like cut pieces off of the ship, dragged it to a mining facility where they made armor, and pretty much 3D printed a set of First Order armor for herself. And it just showed up, and they were like, yep, that's cool.
Oh, where'd you get that? Don't ask any questions.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. Phasma.
Wow.
A lot of fun. Real good book.
Okay.
I think that's
Yay.
it for the first.
So yeah. Good book, good book.
Good book, good book.
Good book. Okay. Next we have read. But you can join us next time. So my next book. What was my next book? Okay, the next book I read is Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher.
The next book I read was Thrawn.
Could you tell there was a theme to my presence this year?
Yeah. I love Star Wars.
Me too. Alright guys, thanks for watching everybody.